Hey Joe, this doesn't look like a sagging door. I thought you were going to show us a sagging door. Well, yes I am, but I just got done fixing these two grab bars. They were loose, they were missing the end caps, and I just showed you how to fix that. If you didn't watch that video, you might want to check it out on my YouTube channel or my website. Okay, so now I'm over here looking at this door right up here, and I was saying it was sagging, and I'm looking at the top edge of the door, and right in here there's only about a 1/16 of an inch gap. When I look down the door, down at the bottom, I've got about a 3/16 inch gap way down there. Okay, let's see here. See there? See how big that gap is on the bottom? And it's almost rubbing the floor. So if I raise that up, can you see that if I raise that, it will raise the bottom edge of that door. There. Okay, the gap's not that small up there, but I know that it is sagging. And why do I know that? Because I'm the master when it comes to sagging doors, that's why. Here, you take a look and you're gonna see that this hinge, when I push on the door up here at the top, see this here? How it flexes? That tells me either the screws are loose here, over here, or the screws are stripped, or something is going on. And it looks like there's a fairly large gap next to the door. See how big this gap is? Okay. When you look down at the bottom, the gap is smaller, isn't it? See right in there? That's about what you want. Okay? And there's another reason why I know this is sagging a little bit. This can be pushed over, and that's going to move this edge over. It's going to raise that up right there, and it's going to raise the bottom edge of the door up. Right there. Not over there, but right there. Okay? And so I'm going to go ahead and open this door, and let's just take a quick peek. I'm going to turn this light switch on, see if we can't get some more light in here. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this hinge and see if these screws are tight. Let's see there, I can just keep turning and turning and turning. That means that hinge screw is really not holding much, is it? Okay, that one feels tight, and this one's spinning. Okay, so there's two screws right now that I know are loose. That hinge is only being held by one screw. Now let's see over here what's going on. That one looks tight. That one's just spinning. See there? I can just spin it. So I need to get a longer screw in there. Okay, that one's tight. Okay, so this one is spinning, but in reality, these two screws should be enough to hold that tight. This one here, it's only one screw, so I think I'm gonna change this out. But that tells me, what does that tell me? That tells me that this jam needs to be sucked in there further, and that's going to push in. And I know it's can do that. You can see here. Here's a finish nail right there, and the head of it is already starting to stick out. The putty on the top of the head. So if I can suck this in right there, I can push this jam in. Sometimes you look, maybe it's just your hinge is loose. You got to put bigger screws in here, or longer screws. But see, I can't just put two long screws in there thinking I'm going to suck the whole hinge in. It's not going to work because I can't push this right into the wood. Okay, so I'm going to take this hinge off. And I'm going to do that. I want to see if you can see what I'm doing here. See, this was the one that was spinning, so that's really not doing anything, huh? And see how big the screws are. They're not very long, and after a while, if those are spinning, that's going to kind of get your hinge moving a little bit, possibly. Because see, this one was spinning too. Okay, the only one that was holding was this one. Boy, that was in there too, so that's good. In fact, I might have fixed this once upon a time, or somebody did. Because see, they put a longer screw in here. Let me get my drill out. I brought my drill. Look at that. I believe this was fixed once upon a time. And I might have fixed it once upon a time. See here? I put 2 screws in here. I pre-drilled it and put long screws in there and sucked it in already. That's why this head is starting to peek out just barely. So first off, I'm going to make sure that that's tight. Now see, if those screws weren't there, you pre-drill a hole there and there going into the jamb. You can't put it anywhere too close to this edge because you got your sheetrock, 1/2 inch sheetrock on the wall, sometimes 5/8 sheetrock on the wall. So you got to get your screws in here into the 2x4 behind here. Okay, so this might not really go over any further. We'll have to see. We'll just have to see. We'll keep this on here. And let's get this resituated. I brought my little stool because I don't want to wrench my back out of whack. Okay, where did my stool go? Here it is. See my stool? I take this around to different jobs. For this particular instance, because if you're doing it off the floor, you don't get enough oomph. Plus, you could put your shoulder out of whack. Okay, I want to make sure you can see this. Let's get you resituated here. Okay, that's looking good. Let's just see if these screws are tight first off. I'm going to back it out and drive it in. Okay. And it could just be you're only going to get so much flex there depending where your shim is, or if the back of this 1x jam is pushed up tight to the 2x4, let's say, or anything like that. So we're gonna have to, I'll have to take a look at that after. And if it is, I'm just gonna tap that in so that's flush. There could be another way that I could get this hinge in there closer by, well, I'm gonna tighten this up and then we're gonna see, okay? I'll have to put some different screws in here to keep that pulled up tight. And worst case scenario, if that's not enough, and if I still have that gap in there, follow this here. If you shave this wood down at an angle with a little chisel or something from about here over, okay? Let's get you in there. From about here over, let's say from here, from nothing to about a 1/16 over there, gouge this out. That will push this hinge over and we'll kind of push it in further, okay? And this will push this up closer to the wall, or we could do it another way. I think I've got an idea for that, but first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and put the screws back in, okay? and I'm going to have to find some longer screws. And fortunately for me, I usually always carry some sheetrock screws with me. Now see, this was the one that was in there. You see how long the screws were before? You know, after many years, these have a tendency to start loosening up because they're not very long, and they're only going into the door jamb. You see, this screw is only less than 3/4 of an inch long, so it's only going in the door jamb. That's why I ended up using this one. This one's probably a 2-inch, and it's coarse threaded. Don't use fine thread. And it's a sheetrock drywall screw. And see, it's almost the same color. It's black. And that's why I like to use them. The head is about the same size as that and everything. Okay, so I'm going to have to get that, and I've got to push it back up into place. And because I'm here by myself, it's harder to do it. So see, what I do is I go over here and I take my trusty putty knife, an older one, if I've got it, and I'm going to try to shim it up with a screwdriver or something, because I don't want to scratch up the floor. And I'm going to push that up. Okay, get my hammer. I'll get my hammer ready over here. Let's see what I can do here. Got that there, and I can put my screwdriver under there. That, and that raises that up. Raises the bottom up, so that should put my hinge about where it needs to be. Oh, that's beautiful. See, that helps me. But if I had someone here, they could just push up on that. But see, you don't have to have 2 people helping you. Just do a few of these things on your own and think, okay, Joe does a lot of stuff on his own. What would he do? Figure it out. Okay. This one went right there in the middle. Okay, right there. Now I'm going to have to dig for some longer screws for the other 2. And I'm going to just put them straight in. I can't really put them in at an angle. If I were to take this door off, I could put a screw in here at an angle, but then the head's going to kind of be coming out at an angle, because this one is going to go straight into the sheetrock behind here. You see what I mean? Unless I were to angle it about like that much, almost at a 35-40 degree angle, to hit the stud in the back. But then if I do that, the point edge of the head of the screw is going to stick out. If somebody feels on there, they're going to say, oh great, what do we do about that? Okay, so for right now, I'm just going to find some longer screws, and they're actually going to have bigger threads on it, and I'm going to drive them in here snug as a bug in a rug. And I'll have to find, I think it was this screw here. Yeah, see this one? It's just twisting. I'm going to go ahead and take that one out, and I'm going to put like an 1.25 inch screw in there, because see, those are only short too. That's about 5/8 of an inch long. So if I use an 1.25 inch sheetrock drywall screw for that, I'm going to do that. These 2 were still snug, remember? Okay. Yeah, those are tight. That one's tight. And that one's tight. Okay. So I'll be right back for that.